Back with another video. What's up, guys? 5:50 a.m. Brand new day. Guys, everybody's sleeping still, but I'm gonna try to fold this laundry. I haven't been helping doing laundry and stuff recently because I've been busy trying to get back into helping doing this stuff. All right, guys, brand new day. Back on the streets in the 911. What is new with you guys? Leave a comment. Where are you guys from? Everybody that's watching, what country, what state, where are you guys located? So I try to pump myself up in the morning because I'm like, dude, I wake up, I'm tired. You know, I mean, you guys know how it is. You wake up, you're just exhausted. I don't know if you wake up exhausted, but I wake up straight up exhausted. Like I didn't even sleep. But I got a fire in me. I don't know why or what the purpose of it is, but I do. And I'm not sure why. But I was going to say, I think I know what it is. I have a chip on my shoulder. But I'm making this video because I'm literally have no clue what I'm even about to talk about. But I kind of have like a sense of what I'm thinking. So when I was a kid, all right, my parents, they got divorced when I was little. I was like 3 years old, I guess, when my mom and dad got divorced. And then as I got older, I was a pretty normal kid, you know, in elementary school, didn't get in that much trouble and stuff, hanging around my neighborhood, whatever. When I got into like middle school, I started acting out. I was like a bad kid, dude. I got in trouble a lot. I ended up getting kicked out of middle school and for like pushing the principal. And then I had to go to a school called Gateway. And it was like a school for kids that, you know, were not able to go to regular school. Then I had to leave that school and I had to go to this thing called the BEST program. It was an entirely different town. It was a high school, like maybe 30-40 minutes away from where my school was. And it was this little building. And the building was like in the back of the school. And the building was like this little shack behind the big high school. And in the shack was all like the degenerates, I guess you could say, is what we were. No, I'm saying like this is the way I thought of my, you know, I felt like I'm like not regular, like a regular kid because I was so bad. It's like, and when you're told all the time by people like, oh, he'll never amount to anything, or I hope he can get his head on straight and stuff like that. But I was in this little building, and I can remember they would group us together, and then they'd take us into the school. So we'd have most of the day in this little building. I don't know if it still exists. It was called the BEST program. They'd take us into the regular high school, and we'd have to be like assimilate into the regular class. So it'd be like you go in a picture in a movie, like a Disney movie. You got to show up every single day to a brand new school, and everybody knows you're like the bad kid. Do you know what I mean? So it was like day after day of that, going to some new class in the high school, and and I'm with the group of kids that were like the bad kids. So I was always looked at like, who is this weirdo? Who are these kids? They're bad kids. You know what I mean? So we acted bad because we carried ourselves bad because we were like bad. We were like, hey, they're going to label us bad. We're going to be bad. You know, like we were just kind of bad, you know, like, so I wasn't that bad, but I didn't like authority. I was a kid. I was acting out. So what I'm getting at is, then as I got a little older and I assimilated back into regular high school in like 9th or 10th grade, then something in me clicked where I wanted everyone to see me as like, oh, he's a good guy. This guy is I was still like getting in trouble and doing things and stuff like that, but I wanted to carry myself in a way where I'm like, I don't want to be looked at like that, because I was looked at like that for so many years. And when you're labeled like that and you feel that way and you feel like you're looked at like that, you want to like kind of like rewrite your story. You know what I mean? But what I never realized until now, I'm 41 years old, is that all those experiences are what created a monster in me, dude. Because you have these little labels put on you throughout your life. I might be talking to somebody right now who has a label put on them, or maybe they're putting their own label on themselves. But what I'm getting at is that, are you an underdog Or are you somebody an underdog is looking at to take out, to chase, to beat? You know what I mean? And I started realizing, oh my gosh, dude, my whole life I was the one down in the dumps looking up at the one on top. I was the underdog. And I'm still that way in my mind. I thought to myself, dude, that's where the power lies. Being the underdog, not being the one that's all on top and everything's perfect. Like, I started thinking about like David and Goliath, like, and I was thinking, I know it sounds cheesy, but I was thinking realistically, like David and Goliath, I realized, I'm like, how in the world did I get into the neighborhood I live in, have the money saved up in the stock account, have a business that's been operating successfully for 10 years, built a family with 4 children, I don't know, just contributed to like donating to charity. Like, if you would have told that kid in the BEST program, the kid that's being round up with the other kids and saying, all right, let's drag you into the high school and show you off to all the regular kids. These are the bad kids that shouldn't even be in here. Do you know what I mean? Like, how can you go from that to what I've been able to accomplish? And I started thinking, like, David and Goliath, he couldn't fight Goliath one-on-one, head-to-head. He didn't have the skills. I didn't have the skills. You don't have the skills. We can't, but you got to get creative. That's what I'm getting at, is that effort over ability. And that's what I'm doing even with YouTube. I don't have the skills. I'm filming with a cell phone. But guess what? I'm putting 10 times more effort in than the regular guy. I'm posting 2-3 videos a day. So maybe something will happen. I don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know. But I'm just saying that effort over ability, dude. Figure out what you have and work with what you got. Like, David was like, I can't go head to head. I'm not John Jones. I don't have the skills. You know what I mean? But he used what he had. He's like, I do have this. That's what I had. I'm like, ooh, they don't know I got this rock in my back pocket with this sling. It's like, maybe you have everything you need to get ahead and everything you need to break free, but you're operating underneath the structure that you've been told is the regular way. That's what I was doing, and I was having no success. I went to community college. Then I found out I had to take all these prerequisites where I'm like, holy cow, dude, I got to take 6 English classes to get to the one that matters. I was in like math 102 or something. I can't remember the numbers, but I had to take like 5 math classes. I'm like, these kids are going to be out of community college by the time I get to the class. So then what I learned was, I was like, fail fast, dude. I figured out what I'm like, is this, you got to use critical thinking. I'm like, is this smart? This is idiotic. I'm going to be in here for this long doing this. You got to pivot. You got to go the unconventional route sometimes. And please don't think I'm telling anybody to drop out of school or something. I'm not. I'm saying, like, stick to your goals. But what I'm getting at is, I'm talking to somebody that might not have any opportunity or a way to figure out how to get ahead. You got to play the game differently than everybody else is what I'm getting at. That's why I talk about the scaling the unscalable. Everybody's in the black or white, following the rule book of the world that we've been shown. But the ones that create things that you're using, the things you're driving in, the objects you're on every day, they were operating in the gray space. They were thinking outside of the box. You got to do the same. There's no rules. I'm talking like this because I try to think of myself, okay, today's a new day. I have my e-commerce business. I'm like, what? Because back in the day, I would do unconventional things to figure out how to get attention. So I'm like, what could I do today? Should I like throw the product in a blender and like go live on TikTok? You know what I mean? Like, what should I do today? Like, what unconventional? You guys like, this guy's an idiot. No, I'm saying, like, I was thinking of a reel in my head because I was thinking, like, I need to get attention, dude. Like the first 3 seconds of the reel, I was thinking I should fill a blender with all the products and ice and blend it like the first 3 seconds, like 1, 2, 3, and then go to like, hey, what's up, guys? But no, what I'm saying is, you got to operate in an unconventional way to figure out how you can break free. But you can't do it during the day. You got to have your regular job. So you got to have your 9 to 5 where you operate with the rule inside the box. I look at it like a box. Operate inside the box, but you're 6 to 11. There's no rules. You can figure out whatever it is you want to do. You can come up with an idea and chase it. I was listening to a story about a girls basketball team in like California or something, and they went on to play in like the national championships or something. These girls had no skills. They didn't know how to play. They've never played in their life. But their dad was like a software engineer or something from India, and he just looked at the game of basketball, and what he did was, he knew the girls couldn't shoot, so what he did was he just implemented the full court press, but to its fullest extent. So he just, you know how like when a team gets the ball, they have 5 seconds to pass it into a teammate from out of bounds? Well, he knew that if he could run down the clock to 5 seconds, they get the ball. Or the girl gets so stressed out that she ends up passing it to one of his girls. So what they would do is they wouldn't run down the court. They would stay, and they wouldn't guard the girl throwing the ball in from the sidelines. They would guard every single girl that's on the court. And they would double team the best player. And they would just pressure them so hard the girl couldn't pass the ball in, so they'd end up getting the ball. And if they did get the ball in, then they would press them on. Then the next rule is you got to get across half court in 10 seconds. So they would press them there. And that's just what they did. And they would have games where they would be up 25 points, 25-0, but they didn't play the conventional game. Some coaches would be so mad. They'd say, "You're not playing the game of basketball." That's almost what you have to do in life. Don't play by the rules. I'm not saying this is not bad. Like, I'm not talking about something negative, like robbing a, like, you know what I mean? Like, don't play by the rules. Go take what's yours. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, in the sense, like, creativity. Like, you don't have to go follow the traditional route. If it's like you're like at a certain age, you're like, man, it's too late for me, dude. If I go back to school, I'm gonna have all this debt. I'm gonna be 36 by the time I get out. And, you know, like, there's other ways you can get creative. But it comes back to effort. That's the thing. Those girls doing that full court press, the coach had to train them, dude, like, to be so athletic, because they were working 3 times harder than everybody else on the court. They're playing soccer basically, and these girls are playing basketball. The girls, they had to have 10 times the effort. So it's the same thing. If you don't want to play by the rules, you can, but you're gonna have to have more effort. You can't go to work, get home, and crack a beer and just sit around and do nothing. You got to come home and you got to start working on your side dream. And that's what I'm trying to get at. That's what I did from 2002 to 2026. Still doing it. I'm just turning up the effort so I can conquer the ability of others. These other people, dude, I see them. These big jewelry brands, massive brands. These people went to college, they have business degrees. They own other companies. The father was a CEO of this. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? I'm the kid from the BEST program that had to sit in the back of the class with my buddy Byron. But what's so cool about being an underdog is they don't know you exist. I'm still in the back of the class, but I'm calculating. I'm figuring out ways to get ahead. And then I have a perfect roadmap from what they've done. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I can use success leaves clues. I can pick up all these little gems. Plus, I can add my own with my creativity and then turn up the effort. And then before you know it, I might be in the same circles as you. And you're like, holy hell, who's this kid from the BEST program? He doesn't belong here. Get him out of here. And they're like, no, actually, his brand did this. They did this. They've done 2 million orders. They've got this. You get what I'm saying? But it's the effort. You got to put the effort in.
Ooh. All right. Woo. This is light work. Come on, spill the tea. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Woo. This is light work.